Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about simplifying rebate management. Some of you may be doing this process manually. We're going to be talking about some better practices and how you might be able to work simpler and easier. I'm here with Mark Rockwell, the president of Rockton Software, and he's got a nice presentation to show you here. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, Mark, and feel free to take it away.
Thanks, Blake. Yes, today we were talking about simplifying rebate management. We're going to talk a little bit about rebates, about what you should do, what you should not do, and some of the problems that happen with rebates and how you can overcome them. First off, though, I'm with Rockton Software, as is Blake. We're a team that is based virtually across the US and many different time zones. We've been doing this ERP improvement since 1999. We love what we do. We try to make things simpler and easier, and we're a fun group of people to work with. And we've got lots of customers whom we love. And we hope if you are not a customer that you'll become one, because, well, we just love our customers. Moving on to our topic today, I want to talk about rebates. I'm going to first define what a rebate is and the types of rebates. Rebates actually can have some different meanings to different people, so I want to make sure that we're on the same page with that. But here's some examples of some of the rebates that we run across in our consulting and what we do with Rockton Pricing Management. So one is that a customer receives a 3% rebate on a group of items. So there might be a special set of items such as a certain food product if you're in the food industry, and then they receive a 1% on other items. And you might have this rebate designed for that customer to incentivize them to buy things, or some type of buying relationship that you have with them. And so that is one type of rebate where they get a rebate on everything, but certain things are at 3%, other things are at like 1%. Another good example is a dollar-based rebate, so that anytime a customer receives or purchases a specific item, that you give them a specific dollar amount, and you can accrue and give them a rebate for that. A different type of example goes on the vendor side, where if a vendor is supplying you with products and they want to reward you for selling those products to your end customers, they might give you 3% on their products, the product lines that are theirs, as an incentive for, say, the month of March. Basically running a special for the month of March. Every time you sell something to a customer, they're going to pay you 3%. Some other examples include a vendor paying you, say, 4% if you sell a certain amount of volume of products in a given time period, so $50,000 over a year. Or likewise, going back to the customer side, if a customer buys a bunch of stuff from you over a certain amount of time, that you might give them a rebate. And then in the food industry, there's this interesting thing where we discount an amount to a customer and they would get paid from the vendor. And so you actually have to track both sides of discounting the customer, as well as making sure that the vendor pays you back for that rebate that you're giving the customer. It's interesting why that happens. It's in the food industry. It's very, very common. It's actually in other industries as well. I'm not sure why it goes that way, but it happens a lot. And it causes lots of problems. What are some of those problems? Well, first off, most people manage their rebates in Excel. It's tracked off book. It's not in your accounting system. And it's a very manual process. And when you're trying to track your rebates in Excel, it can be really challenging, oftentimes because you have rebates that are similar, but they need to be tracked differently. You might have a group of customers over here that track to one type of rebate, or just each customer has their own individual rebate, and you have to keep track of each one of those. But more problematic about things in Excel is that they tend to be single person managed, meaning there is the guru in your organization who knows how to do rebates. They've got these Excel spreadsheets, they've got a process. The process is usually not well documented, it's very convoluted. It's certainly not scalable as you grow, and it's not repeatable. And with that person being the only sole person who's doing rebates, they can't go on vacation, or when they do, the rebate process stops, or if they leave the company or something happens to them, then you're just kind of stuck with not knowing how to continue on in this rebate process. And because it's very manual, did you enter or track the rebate? Which ones did we track? Did the document get created and we tracked the rebate, but it didn't get posted and then it got canceled, and so we have to go back to the Excel spreadsheet and take it back off? And is there a matchup with the data? It can be very difficult to track especially if you're in a larger volume, if you got a lot of sales going on. Some other problems is that if you are tracking rebates in Excel, is you don't have a tie back to the very line item that a rebate came from. You might have a rebate tracked in Excel that ties to like 15 line items on a single document, but it's just those 15 lines in summary. You don't have a tie back to the single line and the amount for each and every line. You don't know if you pay out these rebates, which ones have been reconciled. And so if you have your Excel spreadsheet and you pay out a rebate or collect on a rebate, how does that correspond back to the originating document that created the rebate and that got really reconciled against that? Over time, because rebates can overlap and you have different posting periods and whatnot, it can get very confusing about what time period you're in, or if you've paid some older rebate or paid out against them, it's easy to get lost. Ultimately, these are all going to cause a loss of money, a loss of margin, a loss of profit. And I've seen cases where basically you give a discount to a customer, you forget to reclaim that rebate from a vendor, and you're actually selling at a loss. It'd be better if you didn't sell at all because you're losing money on a deal because you're not tracking rebates properly. And then you run into issues with compliance. So usually rebates are agreements with a customer or a vendor that explains somebody's going to perform this way and money's going to change hands. And if you're not tracking that accurately, it's easy to be out of compliance and violating the contractual agreement that you have. You also cannot scale. As you sell more and more, the process gets more and more complicated. There's more things to track and there's just more work to do. And then there's this interesting thing. Oftentimes you track rebates like, oh, I know there's a rebate of $5 per item. We sold 100 items here, so we're going to do a $5. Well, what if the 85th item of those 100 was actually sold at a discount? Do we really want to give the full $5 rebate on that discounted item? And does the rebate reflect that one? Again, without that tracking to the very specific line item, you don't have visibility into making sure that the rebate is matching exactly what happened transactionally. And then finally, are you accruing liabilities or receivables? So for instance, if you are planning to pay a customer or say pay a customer a set amount of money if they buy, say, $100,000 of goods from you over the next 6 months, and you're not accruing as they are buying products over that 6 months, you might get to the end of the 6 months and realize, oh my gosh, I owe this customer $10,000 that I knew nothing about because they finally, this period of time is over, and suddenly I owe this money. So if you're not accruing it as it goes along, you are missing out on the true financial picture of where you stand with coordinating your rebates of how much money you need to pay out, or optionally how much is receivable back to you, say from a vendor. And so it's important to have clear financials so that you can appropriately prepare for cash flow and other issues on your financials, and making sure that you can understand those things as you go along. Some of the solutions about solving these issues is to calculate and record real time any type of rebate event that happens as your sales occur. So at the time of posting, whenever you have a rebate type engagement, it's important to capture that information to the line item in the amount of detail and record that, and record it to the general ledger. That way you have a full accounting and link to the fact that a rebate event occurred. You should build rules about your rebates because they can be complicated. It's nice to kind of group them together. You might want to group your rebates based on a group of customers versus having 15 rebates for 15 different customers. If they're all the same style or whatever, you might want to group them together. That can help simplify things. But you may want your rebates to be time-based, so that they start and stop at a certain amount of time so that you're not overpaying. Make sure that you have them to be time-based. And you might want variable percentages based on an item type, an item group, or some other attributes like that, so that you can, again, make it more efficient in grouping stuff together so that you're not having to repeat yourself multiple times. And it's nice to have tools where you can have your rebates be amount-based or percentage-based as well. That gives you a lot of flexibility to offer different rebates of different types. Like I mentioned, you can book your rebates to the general ledger, and I highly advise that. When it's booked to the general ledger, then you have, again, an audit trail that ties in detail exactly what's being accrued over time. That audit trail, that data trail, should tie the payment or the receivable back to the originating customer, sales document, and specific line item. And with all of that information tied together, then you have the ability to report on and track exactly what rebates have been accrued, how they got accrued, and likewise, when the rebate got paid back out, exactly what payout or again, a receivable if you're collecting on the rebate, that it tracks all the way back to the specific line item that originated it. The most important win of any solution is to automate all this. Having it in Excel, having it manually done is just very cumbersome and not timely. If it's automated, you know that it's accurate, it's timely, and furthermore, everybody on your team can participate because it's just happening automatically. You don't have to worry about a bottleneck of one specific person tied to making sure all of your rebates are happening. Fortunately, all of these solutions are provided by Rockton Pricing Management. And with RPM, you can automate this your complex pricing, not only your complex pricing, but all of your rebate scenarios and the complex calculations that we talked about there. We definitely consult with a lot of customers, and we try to invoke these rules for rebate management. Seem to be very, very, very happy with that. You want to make sure with RPM, of course, that you're getting the right price for the right customer at the right time, and also accruing all of your rebates so that they are trackable down to the detail line item. With RPM, not only can you do rebates, but you can also track, likewise, unlimited discounts, things like commissions. Tariffs are coming up as well, very much in the news as of late. And of course, royalties and rebates. Any type of calculation you can come up with, a specialty tax, all those calculations can be tracked, much like rebates are, down to the general ledger for the specific line item. And that can be very, very handy in making sure that you are running financially sound and having a very predictable pattern in your financials. That's what we got for rebates today. Hope you find some of that information helpful. Back to you, Blake.
Thanks, Mark. Yep, so that's what we have for you today. If you want to talk more about this, set up a demo, talk more through your scenarios, feel free to reach out to us. The email's right there on the screen, sales@rocktonsoftware.com. Looking forward to connecting with you guys soon. But otherwise, that's all we have for you. So feel free to reach out if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. We do have a webinar coming up next month where we'll be talking more about Rockton Pricing Management and streamlining other parts of your business. So be sure to join us then. We'll see you then. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.